Now that you can loop your opponent to death if they don't use a real option, how do you change your general offense if they have EX meter? I recommend just continuing your pressure, but if they have EX meter, you gotta shift your risk reward a little bit too. Dying is generally considered bad. That's a pretty big risk for you. So if their invincible move can kill you, or their super will kill you, you may want to go for a safer pressure option. And speaking of supers, it may be better not to get hit by a wake up super at all, no matter the situation, because besides doing a lot of damage, half of the cast gets semi-pressure or real pressure afterwards, which is a pretty huge swing. If you ended up having to back off and they still have meter for super, it's okay. Usually very soon they'll spend one bar, whether up close or in neutral for something, and they'll lose the option to super. So just use a safer pressure option right now. And I'm gonna go over these options, but the problem with them you need to understand is you can lose your turn to wake up buttons or neutral jump if they are trying to make hard reads against you, which is why I emphasize so strongly to just keep doing frame traps and taking your turn if you have the life for it. If they have super or the 1-bar invincible move will kill you, there's a few safer options you can go for instead. You can neutral jump on their wake up if neutral jump beats that option specifically. If neutral jump is feasible against their option, it's really good because it also soft wins if they do wake up buttons because you're landing on them. Next, you can do delay throw tech on their wake up. This will block a potential move or super and will also break their defensive throw, but again, you lose your turn if they do wake up buttons or if they neutral jump, which is the real problem again with committing to safer options in general. And lastly, if all else fails, you can pretend to keep pressure on but back off at the last second to try and bait something out, and just go back to neutral if nothing comes. The lower the rank you're playing at, the more likely someone is just going to wake up super for no reason. But otherwise, if they don't have super and a 1-bar invincible move won't kill you, just continue the pressure. Eat the 1-bar invincible move if it does come, and understand the situation that comes after you get hit. Now, 99% of 1-bar invincible moves in the game are balanced in a way that your opponent can't start pressure after. The first way that they can't continue pressure is that traditional Shotos in this game, plus Blanca, lose advantage if you quick rise here and they dash forward. All lower level players dash forward here. They lose their advantage, so you just get your turn back, or for anyone else, you just back roll, and they can't continue pressure because you guys are too far apart now, and you just go back to neutral. Now you can quick rise against these other characters too, because if they dash forward, they aren't all up in your face, but they will be in range for a medium or a heavy, and they will have advantage, so it's a little bit risky. Now there are 3 exceptions to the rule here in Ken, Ed, and Urian, and as you can imagine, it's pretty annoying. With all that talk about EX meter out of the way, again, I recommend just keeping the frame trap pressure going and eating the 1-bar move if it comes, because it's not just about the juicy reward if you block, it's also about lost potential and creating holes in your game. As soon as you choose a safer pressure option, besides opening yourself up to random stuff, it's also likely you will lose out on a potential combo you could have gotten, or even worse, that random stuff just does half of your life for no reason, which is a gigantic swing of pressure because you were unwilling to take the invincible move that you had the life to take. So please, just frame trap them to death if you have the life. Now, what if they choose to V-reversal? Congratulations, you forced them to use their V-meter and now they don't have as flexible options moving towards the rest of the round. If they activate in the future, they have less health to make a comeback with, and the when and how they activate can become a bit more forced, or they just have to use all their V-meter for V-reversals. They will have to beat you more convincingly, and even if you have to go back to neutral for getting hit by one of these, you've gained an advantage. So for the different types of V-reversals, most commonly they'll have the knockdown V-reversal. It has decent speed, so you're most likely to get hit by this unless your opponent did it against your light button. When you do get hit by it, the situation after is the same as eating a Shoto's 1-bar invincible move and Blanca's for some reason, because if you quick rise and they dash forward here, again, all lower level players dash forward here, it is your turn again, not theirs, so just quick rise, check them dashing in here so you can get your pressure back. Otherwise, if you manage to block it, you're +2, do some solid pressure at that range and go back to neutral. If they have a less common strike V-reversal, it doesn't knock down, but these are so fast you're most likely going to get hit by it even if you're doing a light button. There's not much to say about this one. If you get hit, you're -2, just don't get thrown into the corner. Again, corner equal death. If you block it, same thing as the knockdown V-reversals. When you block it, you're +2, just do some solid pressure at that range and go back to neutral. Lastly, of the regular types of V reversals, you have escape V reversals. They are more rare and a little bit on the weirder side to punish, and you got to get used to having the appropriate timing and spacing to throw them back into the corner or even get a small punish on them. It's pretty hard, especially if they do it when you're point blank, as it creates more space at that range versus if they do it when you're further away. Even competitive players don't punish these consistently, so don't feel weird if you're experiencing a bit of difficulty punishing it. Now we are entering the final scenario. What happens if they finally just block the whole frame trap? It's time to establish the tick grab and tick shimmy game. Now you can try adding the tick grab, tick shimmy game early on without doing too much frame traps. I like to do that too against Ultra Diamonds and up, but again, a lot of lower level players are doing some wild shit, and you should really tame them first and convince them to block and simply win those games that you didn't have to get too complex with. Now, a tick grab is a specific light button into a throw, and tick shimmy is the same light button, but instead you walk back, and if they try to throw break or press a button late, you punish them. All characters have a specific light normal that moves them as little away as possible to make grabbing easier, and you gotta find out which one it is for your character. Now these two tick techniques work well because the defender can't simply mash out of tick grab and also can't visibly react to a grab with a throw break. They have to preemptively commit to throw break if they want to get away from your grab, which puts your opponent into a dilemma of should I just take the throw or risk taking huge damage trying to break it. Now you can do raw grab and raw shimmy, but raw grab requires really precise timing that tick grab sets up automatically, and raw shimmy takes a lot of plus frames to pull off because you can just get grabbed trying to walk out of certain situations where you don't have enough time. Using the tick normal first automatically creates the spacing and timing for your techniques to work consistently while also still threatening a frame trap. Now that you know what these techniques are, the best order to implement these into your game is after taming them with frame traps, only do tick grab all the way. It's free damage, you can go back to neutral, or if you're in the corner you get more pressure. And you can't really know for sure when your opponent is going to throw break, right? If you start to shimmy too soon, you lose out on the potential future where they just eat the throw, and that potential future where they just eat the throw maybe another 5 times or so. You don't know. You can't know. So keep doing tick grab until they break it. Now, if they tech your throw, finally you should think, game on. I know for a fact you weren't able to visually tell if I did a throw or a shimmy just now, so you committed to taking a big risk there with the throw break, and now I'm going to add tick shimmy to my offense and blow you up. With that said, this progression of your offense, where you start with frame traps, then do tick grab, then do tick shimmy, works really well as you're climbing ranked. The lower the level of the player, the more unfamiliar they will be with the situation. So unfamiliar most times that they aren't even grasping the mind games that you may be thinking about. They're just relying on strong habits that got them where they are. Progressing your offense this way minimizes the randomness of the match while also exposing your opponent's habits and what they get hit by. Conversely, as you get to really high level, players understand the situation better. They know their options and the risk reward that comes with them and will rotate these options to minimize their damage. A very common example of this is if you tick grab a higher level player and they break it the first time, they're going to log that in their memory too. Next time they'll think, I won't throw break this time and I'll do something else. I'm pretty sure he's trying to punish my throw break because I did throw break the first time. They understand the situation and will rotate their defensive options. Lastly, don't give your opponent too much respect. I don't care who they are. You could be playing Idom, Punk, Tokido, or Daigo. I'm not saying disrespect them, but if you respect them too much, you'll end up thinking things like, they're not going to get hit by this frame trap. Why am I even doing it? Or they'll just break this grab. I can't go for the grab here. You will miss opportunities. Don't respect your opponent too much. So progress your offense properly. Really sell your opponent a story front cover to back of what you're going to do on offense. Don't jump to some really advanced stuff early due to any kind of assumptions you might have, because if you do, I can guarantee your opponent is going to pull your pants down with something, and the only person you'll have to blame, unfortunately, will be yourself. That'll be all for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I know this was a very dense one. If I do make any videos in the future, they're going to be on more specific advanced techniques rather than general techniques, but that'll be all from me. Thanks.